What's up, all y'all? Welcome back to the Worm as always. It's that time of year, just fighting the weather. But that's okay, I deserve it because the weather's been amazing for the last month or two. It was supposed to rain just a little bit this morning, like a 40% chance, and it poured for like 5 hours, and there was a bunch of wind. Listen, the one time that I do this the way you're supposed to, actually stack and sticker my lumber, the wind rips through, takes the cover off, and soaks the only dry lumber I have out here. That's okay, I'm not using it right now anyway. But what I noticed, this is the first time I've ever seen this all wet. Check that stuff out. Is that sweet or what? That's what all the furniture in my cabin is gonna look like. I mean, it's gonna be overwhelming. There's gonna be so much swirly color, woody madness. Oh yeah, look at this. That was just a leftover 1-inch slab. Like, I don't know, I got down to the last part of the log and, you know, had a little bit left over. So I don't know what I'll use the 1-inch for, but here's the 2-inch. You can see when it's dry imagine what this is gonna look like when it's planed. So that's dry. Doesn't look like that much. This is unplaned but wet. That stuff's got some character. Oh, I got so much of it too. Just one whole tree. These are all 10-footers, and I got a couple of 7-footers or something, and then a bunch of 1-inch, I don't know, leftover junk. Pretty sweet, huh? That's just seeing that's giving me extra motivation. Not that I need it. I mean, you know, what else am I gonna do out here? But keeps fire under my butt to get the outside of this done. So close. I mean, the outside pretty much is done. If you guys watched the last video, we got all the rest of it put together. Got that fascia back on there. Got the vents made underneath. Got all this caulked. Got the corners trimmed out. I still think the corners look pretty sweet. Routed where they come together, so there was a nice black stripe to match all the rest of it. It's pretty stinking nice. So, just a couple more things to do before I can start putting insulation in here. I actually just came out here an hour ago. For no apparent reason, I sprayed all the exposed wood inside one more time with that anti-fungicide, because all the wood, you know, the 2x4s that I made and the 2x for the rafters and everything just sat in a pile and got rained on, and there was like crap growing in it. So I sprayed it, what was that, like a month ago or something? And I could still see a little like mycelium in some of it. I don't know if it's dead, like killed it last time. It should have killed it last time. I sprayed the stuff on pretty heavy before I put all the siding and everything on here. But I had some more of that stuff. It's fungicide and some kind of bug killer in one. I don't know. You're supposed to spray it out of a hose. I don't have a hose, so I just put it in a pump up bottle and sprayed the whole inside. So anyway, I wanted to get that done just because I had extra chemical. I also picked up, I was at the big box store at Lowe's recently, and I got some paint for this door. I think I got dark gray. I can't remember. Got a little bit of paint for this. Oh, I should have got some white caulk. I probably have white caulk. I can do the edges of that. I'll eventually paint this white. Probably shouldn't do this right now because working on this, dragging stuff in and out, this door is going to get all banged up. But the weather's getting so cold now, if I don't paint the door soon, it's not going to get painted this winter. Maybe it doesn't make any difference. I could just do it late next spring. But it's hard to paint exterior stuff when it's freezing. I also grabbed a doorknob I could put in there. Of course, I'm not going to put that on until I paint it. And then, alas, I must build stairs. So I'm going to at very least figure out what kind of footings, foundation-y thing to put in the ground here. I mean, I assume I'm just going to have to do it like the feet from this. Do you guys remember that? I made, what, 9 concrete pads, just kind of, as always, just kind of invented my own foundation. I think I'm going to have to do 1 or 2 more down there. The problem is, I don't know if you can tell, there's a whole bunch of roots right there and a giant rock. Well, I mean, this is all rock. I don't know if you can see it's all boulders underneath here. See how the ground's not even? Drops down, comes up. That's all massive rocks. But there are a bunch of roots here, so we have to figure out somehow to make some foundation to set the end of the steps on. Of course, the other side will just screw into the building here. Oh, and then the one other thing, I got to seal the outside of this place. I was going to do it today. I was talking to my dad, and he said, how are you going to put it, the Thompson's water seal or whatever I got? How am I going to put it on? I was like, I'll just roll it or use a brush. He said, use a sprayer. So got my sprayer out already. We'll just spray it on here. Unfortunately, The building's kind of wet from that driving rain we had, so maybe that'll happen tomorrow. So I already can't remember all the things I just listed, but those 3 or 4 or 5 things are what needs to get done before I'm completely buttoned up on the outside. What's that, like a week and a half or something? Of course, got to build the stairs. Let's have a look at how we could build these. Yeah, you can see there's a big old pile of rocks there. I don't know. I guess maybe we can just put a pad there and a pad there or something. I'll have to dig it out. Oh, you know what I could do is I'll just bust these boxes off of here and I'll reuse them. We'll set 2 of them there, kind of dig it out. Probably do the same thing as the cabin, do like 2 bags of concrete in each one, make the stairs come down. I don't want to mill up, I don't know that I have any 1.5 by, so you know, stuff to make 2 bys to frame this all in. I'm kind of thinking I'll use logs. I think I know where I've got a couple piles of like 6-inch real straight logs. Ideally I'd like to use cedar because it's going to get rained and snowed on all year, at least until sometime when I get a little awning over this door, or bring this whole thing out and do like a screened-in porch, which is, you know what, a couple years before I get to that. So let's take a little cruise and see if we can find some cedar logs to make that frame out of. You know, I kind of had this idea. It would be kind of fun to try to flatten a side of each one of these small logs off with a big planer. Like screw the whole thing down to a 2 by or something that had a flat bottom and then feed the whole log through the planer. I don't know if that'd work. That's one possibility. Or you guys have seen me do a bunch of times to just freehand with a chainsaw. I can make like, you know, 4x4s or something, make them reasonably flat, and then I could either feed those through the planer like I usually do, just use that electric hand planer and kind of flatten them off. Yeah, so let's go see if we can find a pile of logs to use. Bunch of new blowdowns over there. Oh yeah, a bunch of limbs came down. Yeah, these will work. That's cedar, and then these 2 are cedar. Could definitely frame it up with that. Oh, this one looks, that's nice and straight. And actually there's a long enough piece out of that one that's straight. There are like 2 or 3 other piles of them out here. Because, you know, when I cut all this stuff down, what was this for? This was all for the man cave that I cut this stuff down. And you get down to stuff that's this size, I can't mill it up. So it just throw it in a pile and hope that sometime I can find a use for it. It's good. By the time I trim these down, it'll be almost a 4x4. We can make that work. Just do like a little 4x4 frame, a couple feet. Some stringers, real short stringers going down with what, 2 or 3 steps. Yeah, it shouldn't be bad. Yeah, I think I have a little more 1-inch cedar left over that I could deck it with. All right, let's do that. Actually, oh, I got a lot of good scraps under here. Some 2x4s, 2x6s. We can make that work. So why don't we, let's see, we use that junk for the frame, but let's still use some cedar poles for the legs. Unfortunately, you can't do this like a normal person would, where you dig the hole, put your post in, fill it with concrete. There's no digging holes out here. Well, maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll try to dig 2 holes, 6 or 8 or 10 inches around. My guess is what will happen is it'll go in a couple inches, and then I'll just have to put a box sitting on top of the rocks and whatever else, and then set the cedar poles on top of it. I'm kind of curious. They're tarps all over here that have random building scraps underneath them from when I was doing one part of one project, and you know, I didn't use everything up, so I throw a tarp over it before it rains, and then I forget about it and go on to the next thing. There's still something under here too. Wow, got a bunch of half of 2x4s. Whoa. I got some 12-foot 2 by like 14s. I really got to get a better system for storing all this stuff. I mean, it'd be nice to have like a platform with a big roof over it that I could put all my lumber underneath. Keep it all sorted out. That's never going to happen. The amount of work it would take to build that, yeah, it's just not going to happen. But I should probably get a nice tarp, put all this stuff together and get it sorted out though. And at least like these are going to be full of, yeah, man, those are all full length 12 footers. If that stuff sits much longer, it's going to be pretty ruined just from the water and bugs and fungus and stuff. So man, there's just too much to do all the time. Everything seems like the thing you should be doing right now. Yeah, let's get some diggers out and just see if we can make any holes. I hear ya. It's red squirrels. Man, all these hand tools have come in really handy. Whenever you decide to leave the real world and run out into the woods and try this, you can get all these hand tools from like a Goodwill kind of place, Salvation Army or whatever you call it. I got a few of these hand tools. I got like, what, 15 different, you know, choppers and grabbers and diggers and everything. Most of them I bought all at once from a bin at like a Salvation Army kind of place. I think they were like $3 or $4 a piece. And then I just found some more on the side of the road. It's not a lot you have to buy new. Just thinking, this door is gonna open in. If it was gonna open out, you'd need enough room to like get out of the way while you're standing on the top step here on the landing. But since it opens in, I don't know, I don't think it needs to be that big. Like maybe as big as the door opening square or a little bit bigger. So I'm just gonna see wherever I can find a spot to get through the roots and rocks. I'll just put the feet right there. I mean, it's not gonna go there or there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, those are boulders. Well, that'll be big enough. Damn it. Good thing about the ground being this way is you don't have to spend a lot of time digging holes because you can't really dig them. Yep. It's about the bottom of it. So that's kind of what you want, is to go down about a foot and then hit solid rock, because then the concrete pad will have something to sit on. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to get them even, same distance from the cabin. That's pretty good. Went in 3 inches before it bottomed out. Oops, a little dirt on top. Nope. You know, the fun thing about building like this too, where if you don't have an exact picture in your head of what you want, you can just kind of let everything dictate where it goes. I mean, obviously I need steps where the door is, but how far they come out or what shape they are or whatever, doesn't really matter, right? But if the topology of the ground was a little different, I just bring the thing out and turn the stairs and go at an angle. There's a nice flat landing here, so I guess we're just gonna go straight out. And then, you know, wherever you can dig the holes, that just dictates the size of the landing. It's kind of fun. That said, you can just kind of imagine how unfun this would be to build this for somebody else. You know, that said, this is exactly where I want it, this is the size I want it, this is exactly what I want it to look like. This would be a kind of a nightmare. Yeah, I got a pretty good hole there, that's not bad. Actually, I should probably have another little concrete pad or two for the steps to come down and sit on, but I won't know where those go until the platform's up here. So what do we do about that? Maybe I just concrete the 2 cedar poles in here, build this. The steps will all be one piece. I can put it on and just prop it up with rocks until what? Until I get around to doing the other concrete. See if the ground's frozen by the time I get that far. Listen, I like that you don't talk back, but you're not giving me any feedback here. I'm having to come up with all this by myself. The problem is I don't have any access to the fast setting quickcrete. I can only get the slow set stuff, so it being as cold as it is, I'm gonna pour these and then have to wait a couple days for it to set up, if it sets up. Man, I hope it'll set up. This is what happens. Remember when I built the shower? I think that was the first thing I actually built that had concrete. Everything else I just set on stumps. Actually, half of that's on stumps, right? Two tree stumps. And the other 2 corners were concrete. I think I had to pour them 3 times. It's the first 2 times. It must have been about exactly a year ago. First 2 times it didn't set up. And then I finally had to make like a 5-hour drive to get the fast setting stuff. You know what? I just thought of what the problem was. That was it just rained a whole bunch, and just digging down the holes filled in with water. So it was way too much water for the amount of concrete I put in. It's rained a whole bunch now, and I didn't hit anything, not even wet soil hardly. So, okay, I'll just pour these 2, let them set for as long as they need to set up, put this on, and then screw with the steps later. Does that sound good to you? All right. Huh. I got up like 4:30 this morning. I usually try to get between 4:30 and 5:30 and read and chill out for a while. Usually in the man cave, and when I peeked out of the man cave, the sun was just rising and it was unreal. There's like a fog or cloud all through the forest, and it was all bright red. Of course, I first thought was I'll fly the drone up and get some cool shots, but you know, the drone wasn't charged. Just looking at that though, you can get an idea of what it looked like. You know, this channel is all about using your imagination, like watching the crap I do and then trying to imagine it really cool. Yeah, it takes some work, but you'll get there. I was just about to pull the four-wheeler out from under the garage there, and I decided to walk over here for a second, and I'm glad I didn't because all the concrete's sitting on the back of it. Ah, fall in Michigan. Let's go cut some cedar logs. Well, actually, I was just going to drag a couple of them up here, but I can throw the trailer on, cut the chunks as long as I need, put them in there, then they won't get all muddy. So, how long should we make these? Just looked, it's supposed to be mid-60s today. Can you believe it? And in 3 days, it's going to be low to mid-20s overnight, so that's it. Summer's over. I'm going to have to drain my water tank. It's a bummer. That's one day of the year I don't look forward to. That sucker sounded loud. Oh yeah. Missing some bolts. Well, it just sounds highly tuned now. Well, it's interesting. These were cut at the same time. This one's full of bugs. Luckily on cedar, it's usually just under the bark. You cut into it, there's nothing inside, but the other one had one bug trail on it. This is full. Kind of want to make a box around those, sort of a platform like this, so see if we can get these off and maybe reuse them. If I put a saw through that, it's going to screw up the blade. I guess we'll find some other scraps. Beautiful. I kind of like doing these boxes, one because I can't dig the hole so deep, but two, concrete ends up here, so as the water falls on it, it's got somewhere to go rather than rolling down onto the concrete and then into your wood, your log or whatever. Which is really why I should bust all these boxes off. You know, the water falls here, soaks into that, soaks into that. I should probably get rid of all of those. If anybody wants to volunteer to get the one right in the middle, that'd be great. Nobody wants to crawl under there? That's what I figured. Huh. Well, guess we'll set it right on top. Okay. Forty-two-ish. Oh, not bad. It's gonna be kind of hard to get completely vertical because there's not a flat side on it, but actually if these, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let them set up and then I'm gonna trim the corners with a chainsaw so you have two flat sides, and then I'll just do the frame around it, and like this cabin, like that cabin, like everything, if it's not perfectly square, totally fine. I'll just make the platform however it sits. Oh. Bag's a little soggy. Damn it. That's gonna turn to concrete right there. My gloves. So don't really need to add water, but I'm thinking maybe it'll start it solidifying faster. Especially with ground like this that's super wet. I think it'll just soak into the concrete. I love days like this. Got a rain, perfectly calm, and then the sun came out. So all the trees, every single tree is steaming. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it or not. Just digging up that little bit of dirt or mud. My boots keep getting tall, you know what I mean? Where it just keeps packing on the bottom of your boots. I always like to find a use for all this sawdust. Alright, what's next? Just looking at the weather. Today's by far the warmest. You know, maybe we will paint that door. So I get a coat on that. I guess I'll paint the same color inside and out, and then I could throw the doorknob on. That'd be kind of nice. I'll probably leave the door jamb for later. I don't know, maybe I'll do it. Get that done, and then it'll have today and sort of tomorrow's supposed to be kind of rainy and then really cold after that, but it'd give it a day and a half to dry. And while that's drying, I could do the sealer on the outside. Okay, yep. I'm gonna take the door off of here, and before we get any hardware on there, just make it easier. Probably have to put another coat later, so I'm sure it'll get all banged up, but it's nice to be able to get behind the hinges and everything the first coat. I gotta say, I never thought I'd be using white caulk and painter's putty out here. Seems a little absurd. Good thing I just so happen to have one tube of this stuff. Works great on cracks like this if you're gonna paint. If you cut the tip just right, you don't even have to smooth it out with your finger or anything. There's always something you don't think of. I don't have a roller pan. Man, I could have oh! Just thought of where it might be. Stay right there, I'll be back. Sometimes I forget I have a garage, and you know, garages are catch-alls for painting supplies. Duh. We're going, I think that's the color of it. Kind of a dark gray. Kind of like that slate color. I would never recommend anybody paint a door with nice oil paint and a 50-cent brush, but I don't have any way to clean brushes out up here, and it's not worth killing a $20 brush on 3 little spots. Ooh, that looks really thin. What the heck? It's gonna take a bunch of coats. Huh. That's not good. That's the wrong paint altogether, that's why. It's supposed to be semi-gloss oil base. This is satin water base. Again with the satin. Jeez, oh Pete. Man, that sucks. If I was thinking I'd put a coat on, still have to go back to semi-gloss or something, or it's gonna be all, it gets dirty so fast, especially on a door like that, and a dirty dude like me. Of course I could use it for the first coat, but then I can't put oil over top of it. Urgh, how did that happen? Unless I bought this for something else? Alright, I found it. I don't know what that other quart was for, but oh yeah, that's the stuff. Smells so good. Oh yeah, that covers a lot better. Oh, this is from that tree stand. Need a little tube of something. Helps to do this. The only trick to doing this is getting the bottom. Oh man, oil-based paint goes on so nicely. Woo. Kind of easier to set this on sawhorses, but I want to paint both sides at the same time, so this works pretty well. Definitely need one more coat. Well, that little trick of painting around the doorknob so you can put the rope through there kind of backfired on me. It's such high humidity, it's going to be close to 100%, and it's not very warm. I thought it would take quite a while for that to dry. And then 5 minutes before I painted the door down to that spot I painted before, it was already pretty dried, so now you can see the little square that I rolled. What a dummy. I guess maybe not the best idea with high gloss paint either. Well, what you gonna do? We'll figure it out. Whew, I didn't think it was ever gonna stop raining. Well, we got like 3 hours before it rains a bunch again. I was thinking about going for this water seal. Let's see how many rules we'll have to break. Allow 30 days for new lumber to dry. Nope. Be sure the temperature is above 50. Nope. Cover plants and shrubs. Not going to do that either. We don't have to worry about loose flaking or peeling stain. If surface is damp or wet from cleaning or weather, allow surface to dry thoroughly a minimum of 48 hours before application. I think we'll give it 4.8 hours. Alright, otherwise, yeah. What's the worst thing that can happen? I guess it doesn't stick on there or it gets blotchy or something. It's still gonna cabin just fine. That's a verb, to cabin. To keep the crap off your head. Yeah, let's give it a go. Oh yeah, the other problem is I'm gonna put this on with a sprayer. Ooh, check this out. Nice and solid. Now these, I'm not gonna mess with for a few days because I actually have to take a chainsaw to the top of it, so it's gonna be like a lot of torque right on the top. I'm gonna have to let those set up at least a few more days. I'm totally all for ignoring the rules, cutting corners that I want to cut, but not if it's gonna destroy the work I just did. This isn't really destroying anything. Yeah, I just have this sprayer, which is meant specifically for bleach. What does that mean? I don't know. I'm gonna dump it in there and see if it'll spray. I have a feeling it's a little bit runny. It's actually quite liquidy, but I don't know if it's too thick to go through here. Anyway, let's find out. Let's check out this door real quick. Does anybody want to take a bet? Is it dry or not? I'm gonna guess almost dry, a little tacky. Yeah, more tacky than I thought. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna have to leave it there for as long as it takes, probably 4 or 5 days or something. Actually, maybe it's never gonna dry now that it's gonna be in the 30s and 20s every day. But I'll let it dry as much as I can before I have to have that door on there if we get a snowstorm or something. Ooh, I don't know, it's a little thicker than I thought. Not gonna work. Darn. I mean, it comes out, but it doesn't spray. I found another tip. I guess I've already ruined this, so let's, I don't even know if it's from this sprayer, probably not. Come on, baby, come on, baby. Nope. Alright, found one more pump. It's broken. I super glued it and Gorilla taped it, so it's probably not gonna last, but let's see if it sprays anything. It's already garbage. I'm guessing not much of a chance this is gonna work either. Nope. Alright, last try here. We use a big fat roller and see how it goes on. Just thinking, might as well go on the back side and try it down low and just, I don't know, maybe the stuff won't even stick. I have no idea since the wood's not real dry. Yeah, my tape job didn't hold up. This is a real disaster, Sheesh, what a mess. Yeah, I have used this stuff before, so I remember that weird skim on top. Isn't that bizarre? The only way this might not work out is if it dissolves any of my caulk there and picks it up. Yeah, it's gonna soak up a lot. Might need more than 2 gallons. I don't know how it'll dry either. That brought out a lot of color. It looks really nice. Who knows if it'll stay that way. Yeah, it being this cold, I wonder if it's actually gonna soak in. It's certainly not going to dry anytime soon. Well, I'm bringing this on myself. Contrary to popular belief, I can read, and I read the instructions, and it said don't do this right now. Yeah, even with a full roller, it doesn't really want to sink in at all. Good thing is, it didn't, no black streaks on there, so that's fantastic. Wow, the can says 200 to 400 square feet of coverage, which conservatively you could do this whole thing with it. I don't think they're talking about raw chainsaw milled cedar siding. It's gonna take, I only have 2 gallons of it. I bet it takes 6 gallons, maybe more. I'm basically trying to smear candle wax on the side of the building. It's like right when you mill the lumber, it's really beautiful. That nice, all those cedar colors. And then I think it's just from having air on it, it changes colors, you know, it gets more, it's not gray right away, kind of that yellowy, and it just loses the pop. This is nice, it's bringing the pop back. Pretty nice, right? Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, I think there's a good reason to put this on at a certain temperature. It's not just random. They didn't just pick it. Hey, Johnny, pick a number. We'll put it on 50 degrees. All right, tell him 50 degrees. It's, I rolled it on pretty thick up on the fascia there, and you could see, like, I thought it was part of the, like, the splinters from the wood sticking up, and wiped it, and it's just like a big fat coat of waxy stuff from this. I mean, the stuff's on there. Don't know how much it'll soak in. Eventually, when it gets warm, I'd think this stuff would emulsify and get right down in there, but who knows? Oh yeah, now it's starting to rain. Man, you just can't build a cabin from trees to the finished thing in one season by yourself. At least not this way. There's probably a faster way to do it, but I do not know what it is. Quite a nice difference. Not bold, but poppy. I keep going back and forth as to whether or not I should continue this, and I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it all. Not half bad, eh? Ooh, forgot to do that. All right, 2 more walls, 2 more walls. Got about an hour and a half before it's dark. It's gonna be close. Haha. You know, some of this stuff I started buying before I even bought the property. So it was about 3 years ago. Well, maybe I just closed on the property, and all these things start going through my head. Oh, I'm gonna move out there. What kind of stuff do I need? So I just started going to all the, you know, restores, picking up weird tools and shovels and rope and I don't know, all that bizarre stuff. I just dug around. I had another jug of this. Let's see. Yeah, I got it for $4. Who knows how old it is? Let's not even look. Crap, the temperature's dropping. Look at this stuff now. Look at that snotty wax. Oh man, you can't get the roller to soak any of it up. Yep, it was like a couple degree window. It just started solidifying and then boom, it wasn't usable anymore. I'm so close here though. It literally will not spread on here anymore. I just have a little patch here, a little square there. And since I might not get another chance to put this on, oh, I didn't get to the front. I'm gonna warm it up like 5 degrees and just put it on really quick. I mean, as soon as it hits the wood, it's gonna cool back down and congeal, but I don't know. That's how the whole thing is. So another little corner of congealed Thompson's water seal, I guess isn't any worse. Got the heater going. Just enough that I think it'll bring it back to a liquid. It only needs a couple degrees. For a couple minutes there, I was able to just dump it out of the jug and use it really fast because it was in the man cave under my bunk and the heater was on earlier, so it must have been just a little bit warmer. It'd pour in liquid, roll it really fast, put a couple coats or a couple rollerfuls on the wall, and then it would just glop right back up. Oh yeah, it's starting to liquefy. Yeah, totally worked to get it on the roller and get it on the wall, and as soon as I smeared it, you could just see it like globs of candle wax almost. I even took the heater and put it up here, and you could see it. It took about 5 seconds, and then you could see it start moving. So that's going to be a mess. Hopefully when it does get warm enough, like close to 50, it just slowly warms up and lets it soak in. I don't know, might be drippy all over the place. That's okay. I mean, you know, when I do stuff like this, stuff that doesn't quite make any sense, and you think, oh, I could just wait, and I do it. I try not to be hard on myself, because a few drips on the wall of my cabin out here in the middle of nowhere, it's not going to make any difference. There's no chance that I'm going to be sitting inside here when it's 15 below zero, blowing wind, dumping snow, and think, I just can't enjoy this because of those drips out there. It is unfortunate that I wasn't able to get it on the front. I guess it's that side gets the most sunlight. That's south facing that way. So that's the wall that was gonna yellow the fastest. So I'm glad I got all that on. And I think it went on fine. I could actually roll it and see it soak in, so I'm not too worried about it. Anyway, well, I guess I'll put the rest of this stuff away. I'm going to give the stairs a couple more days to harden up, let this rain go through. Next time you see me in a few days, it's going to be cold. It's actually supposed to snow, I think, 2 days from now for a couple days on and off. Not sure it'll stick, but the warmest days for the next week or 10 days are like 35. So when I do see you again, we'll put these stairs together. This is actually going to be, now that this is here, I realize it's going to be kind of quick and fun. I think we're just going to knock these off level with the bottom of the door, cut the outside like this with the chainsaw, like this, just square up this edge, and then we'll run a frame around it, maybe put a couple of joists in there, figure out how to throw a couple stairs on this. Looks like I probably won't get concrete under them, but we'll stick some rocks or some pavers or something underneath to get through the winter, and then we'll kind of finalize the whole thing next spring. Gosh, I can't believe I'm doing stuff right now thinking, yeah, I'll finish it next spring. I could be dead by then. Jeez. Hey, one more interesting thing. Just a couple days ago, my mom sent me this picture. She said, this is something you should make. Apparently she was joking, but I thought it looked really cool. Check it out. Remember the tree down here that was split? One side was busted off. It was a giant Y. And the bottom of the tree was so wide that I didn't even think I could mill it. I think I used all the rest of the pine for the framing for the floor. Oh no, it was for the walls in there in the cabin. Check out what's left of this log, because I think if I have space when we get there, I think I'm going to try to build one of those tables. I know you guys have no idea where we are, but remember this tree? This huge old thing? Oh man, I love how red it's gotten. Just with time and with the rain on it, the color really comes out. But that thing is way bigger than my bar on my chainsaw I use for milling. I don't know if you can tell how huge that thing is. It's a monster. So there's no way I can mill it as it sits with my chainsaw. But if I was to make one of those tables, I guess I'd cut a big old slab this way and stop there. And then I could use my mill as long as however long I wanted the table. I could mill, you know, the top slab right down here until it meets and goes down. So you end up with one solid piece here and here, and the saw would fit through because it'd be up near the top here. It'd be milling like through there. Actually, that's as thick as the slab would be for the top of the table, just based on, you know, where I can stick my bar through. But that sucker is huge. I can't think of anything else I can really do with it. I can't move it at all, so whatever I make out of it's going to have to be done right there unless I cut that thing up into little pieces. Other thing I considered doing is taking a chunk of it, setting it up on end, and chainsaw carving out like a gaming chair, like something perfectly fit to my back, wrap around armrests and everything, just all out of one log. I mean, there's so much fun stuff to do now that the cabin is so close to done on the outside. I'm pretty sure it's just the steps. That's it. put the steps together. It'll take, what, a couple days, unless I got to mill. I might have to mill some lumber up. But a couple days to do that. And then, I know, I've been saying the same thing for weeks and months. Then we throw the insulation in. That's a day. Then those bottom couple courses of boards on the one wall. Then put the heater in, and then the thing's totally usable. So I'm glad you were here. Hope this was entertaining to see me struggle with some water sealer. At least I had your company to get me started on the stairs. I just don't like making stairs, but now that stuff's concreted in, I think I'm good to go. I can do it. See you guys next week.